Now, we're of course going to talk about Michigan as well, because this kind of ties into what's going on in Michigan too. There is a lot of controversy, fake controversy surrounding Abdul al-Sayed. They're trying to manufacture outrage. They're trying to manufacture controversy because Abdul has been, cooking in the polls. Obviously, is the front runner in this race so far, and Haley Stevens is propped up by every corporation in the United States of America and also the nation state of Israel, right? And Haley has no ground game whatsoever, but doesn't need it because she has $40 million in TV ads. And as I covered yesterday, some of those TV ads are implying falsehoods, such as Barack Obama endorsing Haley Stevens in this current Senate run in the primaries. That's not the case. That did not happen, right? The number of ad spend earmarked for Haley Stevens has reached $50 million as of this week. It's a ridiculous number, okay? It's very clear to me that they are desperate. Now, not desperate enough to actually deploy volunteers on the ground. God forbid. Okay. No, Stevens isn't claiming that Obama endorsed her. Some voters are getting that impression from the ads that show Obama praising her in 2018. Using Obama's previous praise for you without an endorsement is a tactic previously used by Bernie Sanders. Yeah, the reality of the matter is I like that Bernie Sanders was doing that, okay, because I like Bernie Sanders. I don't like that Haley Stevens is doing it because I don't like Haley Stevens. But to add insult to injury, the groups that are actually pumping these ads are AIPAC. Okay, for the most part, AIPAC has been a major donor to the campaign. Here's the thing. AIPAC fucking hates Obama. AIPAC has run the gamut on anti-Obama commentary in the country. AIPAC is unbelievably hostile to Obama, his legacy in its entirety, for the crime of doing the JCPOA. Haley Stevens knows Michigan voters will reject her on the issues. That's why she avoids interviews and has resorted to a dishonest smear campaign against Abdul al-Sayed. Stevens' aversion to press and public events is bizarre. She declined to interview the Wall Street Journal. It's one of the greatest examples of subverting democracy, okay? That's it. Yeah, this guy says, I'm smiling so hard right now because I said, I'm losing my mind. This is how AIPAC dupes kind folks. These two individuals who are critical of Israel voted for Haley Stevens because of President Obama, okay? And Tim says, I'm smiling so hard right now. I say smiling because AIPAC, who hated Obama's guts for doing the Iran deal, which Trump destroyed, is now lying about their handpicked candidate being endorsed by Obama in this race. And all he has is, well, I'm smiling because it torments you. That's great. I love subverting democracy. I love duping voters. It's awesome. Yeah, here's Tommy Vitor saying, AIPAC spent tens of millions of dollars lobbying against the Iran nuclear deal, a signature Obama achievement, and is now running an ad featuring Obama that misleadingly suggests Obama endorsed Haley Stevens in the Michigan Senate race. Weird that people dislike the organization. Yeah.
Your choice of slots.
Haley Stevens, Chief of Staff for President Obama's auto rescue, saving over 200,000 Michigan jobs.
And Haley Stevens, by the way, she was there. She was a critical part of my team that helped the American auto industry come roaring back.
In Congress, Haley successfully fought to cap the price of insulin at $35 a month. Now she's fighting back against Trump's Medicare cuts. Haley Stevens, a proven fighter for Michigan. UDP's responsible.
So they're doing everything. It's full spectrum. Okay. The AIPAC ads are everywhere, claiming falsely that Abdul El-Sayed disrespects women, hates women. Okay. When I was in Michigan, I genuinely could not believe how often the Abdul disrespects women AIPAC ad was being aired. It seemed to be in nearly every commercial break on every station. AIPAC's front group, United Democracy Project, just bought TV commercials for Haley between 7/21 and 7/27. The total is $4.2 million. That is an unbelievable amount of money, chat. You have to understand, like, this is an unfathomable amount of money. Pro Haley TV, Haley Stevens TV and digital spending is now almost at $50 million. All of it is super PACs. I said Israel and every other corporate PAC in this country is going to buy this seat if we don't stop it. They have the money, but we have the people. Time to knock on doors, phone bank, and speak to your neighbors to get the word out for Abdul. It is insane. It's so flagrant. And I will admit, this is a story in and of itself. This is a story in and of itself. What are they afraid of? They're afraid of democracy. That's what they're afraid of. They're afraid of someone who will fight for the interests of the working class rather than the interests of corporations. That's what they're afraid of. And they're so afraid that we can put a fucking price on it. We can put a price on how fearful they are. $50 million so far. Okay? It's so frustrating. Should Obama correct the record? I don't think he will, beyond just telling media outlets that he hasn't endorsed anyone in the race. He's not going to come out and be like, Haley Stevens is lying, you know? If you are wondering, if you're wondering why the changes that you find to be common sense never end up taking shape in this country, you're watching the reason why it won't. Okay? There have always been good people, kind-hearted people, maybe not people that you completely align with ideologically, but just like real fighters that have wanted to run for office, that have wanted to seize power so that they can actually implement some of the changes that we all want to see. Those people always get humiliated, bullied, destroyed, attacked. They have to have a perfect track record. And even if they have a perfect track record, even if they're, you know, a doctor with a Rhodes Scholar, a doctor, a guy who worked in public health, a guy who literally wrote a book on Medicare for all, even after all is said and done, the opposition, backed by unlimited amounts of money, will turn around and mass blast smear campaigns, ads that call you a sexist, a misogynist. We'll call into question your legitimacy. They'll call you a terrorist for your popular position on Israel, your moral position on Israel. It's ridiculous. And most people are too busy to pay attention. And these institutions take advantage of that. They take advantage of the good, kind-hearted, working-class folk that don't have time to sift through this information. They go, I like Obama. And Obama likes Haley Stevens. Obama endorsed Haley Stevens. I'm voting for her. That's how it works. If you were to force people to understand what the platforms are, if every voter was actually only seeing what Abdul's policies are and Abdul's platform, and then see Haley Stevens' policies and Haley Stevens' platform, the choice would be super clear. Why the fuck would we not vote for Medicare for all, ending endless militarism overseas, no more money for bombs, money for healthcare instead? Who the fuck would say no to that? as opposed to better things are not possible, unlimited donations to the nation state of Israel so they can keep melting children. A person who has voted for some of the silliest, most right-wing bills. A person right now, the Trump administration is actively working to dismantle the International Criminal Court for doing his job, for actually prosecuting Benjamin Netanyahu for war crimes. You know who voted to sanction those judges? Haley Stevens did. Haley Stevens also voted to thank ICE. Haley Stevens is backed by the Michigan version of PG&E. I'm Californian, obviously. PG&E is a horrible company. The Michigan version of PG&E is called DTE. Hey, DTE has dumped boatloads of money into the Haley Stevens campaign.
Stevens.
Yeah. It's very clear who the people would vote for if they knew the full scope of the policies. We cannot miss this opportunity to vote for a real fighter, for Michiganders, a real fighter who will be sometimes the lone voice in the Senate on issues that are important to all of us, on issues that will advance the interests of the working class. That's it.
Vote its fund and thank ICE.
In Michigan, we know a thing or two about ICE. This ICE, good. But right now, our government spends billions on an agency that operates outside of the law to terrorize our neighbors. I'm Abdul El-Sayed, the only Senate candidate for abolishing ICE, and I approve this message.
Haley Stevens, vote its fund and thank ICE.
Shout out head in the office for keeping their foot on the neck of Haley Stevens this whole race. I recommend everyone check out their interviews with Abdul. Yeah, head in the office is fucking awesome. I love those guys. There is not a Democratic candidate in recent history that is as blatantly corrupted as Haley Stevens. She accepted money from hundreds of corporate insurance PACs in office, $30+ million from AIPAC ads bankrolling her campaign. You think she's going to stand up to the lobbies? She's frankly everything wrong with the Democratic Party in 2026, an establishment creature through and through, designed in a lab to fall apart with young voters.
Of their servitude, sharing in the profession with those who have not come before you. Similar times of trying medical need, wars and flus past. You will see darkness, you will be pushed, and our society needs you. To stand together at this time, our country loves you. To our doctors and our nurses, I wear these latex
The gentlelady's time has expired. The gentleman from Maryland is reserves.
She's doing this during COVID. I mean, yeah, this is the one.
Israel comes to me in my dreams. I see Israel's future, and I know that Israel will continue to exist for the Jewish people. Israel comes to me in my dreams.
Yeah. Oh, she's so horrible. Anyway,